The argument that's being had in the videos that I've been making here the last few days from some people is that Ruth Bader Ginsburg should have retired when Obama was president so that he could have replaced her. My retort to that is, what makes you think Mitch McConnell would have allowed that to go through? He's already shown you through denying Obama's last Supreme Court appointment a hearing that he was willing to hold the Supreme Court seat open for at least a year. What makes you think he wouldn't have held one open for longer, especially if it was Ruth Bader Ginsburg's seat? The seat that they would have loved to do nothing more than what they ultimately wound up doing, which is replace the ultra-liberal justice with an ultra-conservative justice. And this commenter says, Dems controlled both houses his first 2 years in office. That's when it needed to happen. I think you meant both chambers, because the House is a chamber and the Senate is a chamber, so I think you meant they controlled both chambers of Congress his first 2 years. Here's the problem. They didn't have the 60 votes they needed to stop a filibuster. I mean, they did for like 2 months, but that was right when he first came into office, and she would have needed to have retired immediately upon him coming into office, and they would have needed to fast track and get through a Supreme Court nomination with all of the hearings and all of the interviews within a couple of months. Something that we bitch when the Republicans do it. Other than that, they didn't have the 60 votes they needed to break a filibuster. Unless what you're saying is the Democrats, when Obama was in power, was in office, and the Democrats were in power those first 2 years, unless you're saying that they should have blown up the filibuster for Supreme Court nominations the way Mitch McConnell did, which we don't like that he did. Listen, we're all of us, when it comes to Ruth Bader Ginsburg and her retirement or lack thereof and the replacement of it, we're all playing Monday morning quarterback, right? We're all looking back and saying this should have happened and that should have happened. But I don't see a scenario in which Mitch McConnell and the Republican parties would have just let it go through. Well, Tom, he appointed 2 Supreme Court justices and they got confirmation hearings. Yes, they did. And for years and years and years and years and years, the Republican Party has long coveted Ruth Bader Ginsburg's seat. They wanted to flip that seat on the Supreme Court. I think if Ruth Bader Ginsburg retired in Obama's first year, the Republicans would have filibustered all the way until Trump. Tom, you think they would have filibustered for 7.5 years? Yes, I think so. I think that by the time Donald Trump became president in January of 2017, he would have walked into the White House with 3 open Supreme Court seats. Yeah. Because Mitch McConnell was hell-bent on flipping that seat. So I disagree that even then it would have been feasible, because we didn't have the votes. Unless we blow up the filibuster, in which case we're doing exactly what the Republicans did. Blowing up the filibuster for Supreme Court justice so that you can jam your people through. And we didn't like it when they did it. So why would we like it when we do it?